Here we go again. Is anybody dreaming about Manjushri? Sometimes when you do retreat, you start to recite the mantra in your dreams or something like that. Yeah, I dreamt about Pat Cipollone. He's going to testify for the January 6th committee. Well, it could be Manjushri, better, you know. Okay. So it's good when, before we chant the homage, that we visualize Manjushri in the space in front of us. We're not saying the praise to empty space. Let's cultivate our motivation. So if we respect Manjushri's qualities and want to develop them in our own minds, then we have to practice the Lamrim teachings and the teachings from all the various philosophical texts. So praying to Manjushri is good, but we have to do the work. So one of the main things to do is to generate bodhicitta, so that we have the same motivation for our practice that Manjushri has for doing all the Bodhisattva and Buddha's activities. So take a moment and generate that motivation. If you have some problems having compassion for somebody, then try and see that person as a sentient being overcome by afflictions and karma. Don't see them as an inherently existent bad person, because that's not who they are. But see them as somebody to have compassion for, generate compassion and bodhicitta. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about the praise that we've been chanting now that the course is almost over, so that you can get some feeling for it and why we do this. Okay, so as a prelude, some people like saying praises. Some people like saying mantra. Some people don't like saying anything. Yeah. Some people like analytical meditation. Some people like visualization meditation. Yeah. Some people like studying the classical texts. Some people don't. Yeah. So we may want to just tailor our practice for what we particularly like. And at the beginning, there might be some reason to do that so that we can really get some grounding without facing so much resistance from our own mind to different things. But after a while, I think it's good for our mind to open up, because if we're going to benefit sentient beings, we have to learn about the variety of ways in which sentient beings think. And the teachings are always talking about people having different dispositions, different interests, and so on the path. And if we say, well, no, I'm just doing things according to the way that I like to, that feels comfortable with me, what these other people like, I don't like, so I'm not going to even bother with them. Then when it comes time to benefit people, when these people show up and say, I have a question or help me with my practice, then we don't know what to say. Okay? So at some point we have to begin to broaden and learn some of, these different ways that people think. And it might be surprising, for example, okay, a personal example again, at the very beginning when I encountered Buddhism, if they had told me, okay, here's all these deity practices and just praise these deities and say mantra, I would have said, no, I'm not interested, because it was, for me, it was too devotional, too much like praising God. And I had difficulty praising God because I didn't believe God existed. So, and at the beginning, I didn't know the proofs of how to prove that enlightenment was possible, or how to prove that the Buddha existed. Yeah. So I had a lot of resistance to these kinds of things. If I had been taught only that, bye-bye. Okay. But thank goodness my teachers didn't teach only that. Yeah, they mainly taught the Lam Rim, and that is, and encouraged us to do the more analytical types of meditation, which I really enjoyed. Yeah, and so that was very good. But then at one point, my mind got a little stuck. I was doing the Lam Rim, that was good, but I don't know, all this thinking, it was a bit, it was getting to be a bit too much. So I talked to one of my Dharma friends about it, and she said, oh, yeah. It's like she knew about this. She said, when your mind gets stuck like that, then it's very good to do mandala offerings and prostrations and these kind of more devotional type practices. And at first I was like, but anyway, let's try. And so I started doing them, yeah. And I was very surprised that they really helped my mind relax, yeah. And then I wound up doing Vajrasattva retreat, saying this one long mantra 111,111 times, and I was told that was going to purify my mind, and I had no idea what purification meant. But, I trusted Lama when he said to do this, so I did it. And then afterwards, it was like, oh, the teachings sound a little bit different than they did before I did the practice. Maybe that's what purification means, even though I don't understand how it works or anything. Okay? So my conclusion was, give some of these things a chance. I don't have to totally revamp my practice, but try some of the different ways. If you're a devotional person and you love the devotion, try doing some more study and doing the analytic meditations. So, you have to see what you need at a particular moment. But as you progress and the idea to benefit others comes more, then it's helpful to know something about the other practices in case people ask you. If they ask you and you don't know anything, then you just say, I don't know, and you refer them to somebody else who does. Okay? But yeah, sometimes the things, they have an effect on your mind that you didn't expect. And sometimes, it's not like that effect comes immediately. Sometimes it takes 10, 20 years or something, but your mind expands a bit. Okay, so this is a prayer of paying homage to Manjushri. Yeah, why do we pay homage to Manjushri? Does Manjushri need our homage? Yeah. Do you think Manjushri needs to be praised? Yeah, that Manjushri has the same low self-esteem that we do, that he can't evaluate his own actions, so he needs us to tell him how wonderful he is so he has some confidence to be the Buddha. Yeah? I don't think Manjushri has that kind of ego problem. Yeah. If he did, then why would we praise him? Yeah. Which I think was part of my problem with God. God seemed to have some qualities that I didn't respect very much. He tended to be rather angry and vengeful and partial, and I just couldn't get into it. I tried, but it didn't work. Okay, so similarly, Manjushri got a few, what are those, nectarines? Wow, and a cup of hot water. Yeah, every day he gets a little bit. Sometimes it's a few grain crackers, Sometimes he gets a little bit of our dessert. Yeah. Do you think he needs that? Do you think he looks at 3 nectarines? Or are there 4 in there? Anyway, however many nectarines there are, these people love me. I must be really worthwhile. Or does he go, 3 nectarines? They bought a huge bag for themselves. What are they doing giving me 3 like I'm a beggar? What do they expect? I'm supposed to, what are they sentient beings asking? Here, awaken my mind, awaken my intelligence and my wisdom. How am I supposed to do that? Yeah, when these people just can't give more than 3 nectarines. It's like, yeah, okay. So Manjushri doesn't have this kind of problem. I say this because very often we will impute on the various deities and Buddhas these kind of qualities that we have problems with. Yeah. And, okay, let me give you an example. One of my Dharma friends told me this. He teaches. And somebody who was a very strong Christian before he became a Buddhist came to say one day, you know, I really like Buddhism, and I've tried to give up Christianity, but, you know, I was taught it as a kid. And I'm really afraid if I practice Buddhism, I'm going to go to Christian hell. But I'm also afraid that if I practice Christianity, I'm going to go to Buddhist hell. What do I do? Okay. So do you see he's projecting all this stuff on the Buddha, like, you know, the Buddha is saying, I am the light, I am the way, and if you don't believe in me, you're going to hell. Totally projecting that. Or thinking of karma as, you know, earning brownie points to get a good rebirth or something like that. So that's not in Buddhism at all. But our mind projects things that aren't there, and then we get tangled up. Okay? Another example, there's, in one of the practices I do, it says, kind of inspire me to do only what pleases you. That sounds like God. You know, I just like, I'm praying to do only what pleases you. And it's like, I have to please God. Now I have to please Buddha. And, you know, the whole thing about pleasing God, you better please God, but you don't know all the rules. Yeah. You know, don't do the 10 Commandments, but you see everybody else doing them, including some of the people teaching you not to do them. Yeah. Please God. I mean, I'm not doing this to do a song and dance show to make God happy. I want to, you know, grow spiritually. So that line in a Buddhist practice, it drove me crazy for years. Yeah. I just wanted to skip over it. I had so much resistance to that line. Yeah. And then later, I thought about it, and I realized, no, that's resistance is coming from me. Yeah, that's not what the Buddha is saying. Why does it say, you know, inspire me to do what only pleases you? Is what's the real meaning behind that? What pleases the Buddha when we generate the three principal aspects of the path? Is this something I want to do? Generate those three? Yes. Okay. So in that way, yes, I want to please the Buddha by generating those things, which are also the qualities I want to generate. Okay. So, you know, sometimes in these things we have to understand them a bit better. And I think some of you went through this with Vajrasattva. I remember the first confession prayer at the end of Vajrasattva that I think Lama Zopa wrote, you know, and people are saying, you didn't like it. Do you remember how it was worded? It was.
Since beginningless time, I have committed. Wait a minute, I'm going to get it confused with 35 Buddhas.
Yeah.
Which is similar.
Okay. No, 35 Buddhist has a different feel. Yeah, okay, yeah. Anyway, Venerable Semke.
Something like I have day and night without respite, negativities and ethical downfalls come to me like rainfall. I lack the ability to purify these faults so that no trace of them remains. With these negativities still in my mind, I could suddenly die and fall to a horrible rebirth. What can I do? Please, Vajrasattva, with your great compassion, guide me from such misery.
Okay, yeah. So people read that. I have all these negativities. My mind fall. I could fall on my mind. I could fall to the hell realm. Yeah, and it's like, can we have a confession prayer that's a little bit milder? Yeah, I don't, this sounds too much like a theistic religion where I'm being threatened with punishment in hell, unless I do this. And that's precisely the reason why I left one of the reasons why I left that religion is because I just didn't resonate with that way of looking at the world. Yeah. So there was a big pushback against that. And but you were doing retreat, so you said it, okay. And then I looked at another thing and found a different version of the prayer. That was the one actually that came from the sadhana, not one that Rinpoche wrote. And it was much milder and everything. So I said, okay, everybody had so much resistance. Do this one, it's milder and you'll like it. And they did it for, 1.5 times. And then they said, we want to go back to the old one. The one they didn't like. Now they really like because they saw something in it that they didn't see before. Yeah. Yeah, you were on that retreat too. So, yeah, a few people here. Okay. So Manjushri doesn't need our homage, and he doesn't need nectarines. Okay. The hot water may be helpful, but my guess is that maybe he doesn't need that either when you have a body of light, yeah, that doesn't get thirsty. Wouldn't that be nice? Okay, so when we say homage is a combination of taking refuge and bowing and praising. So all of those things together. And they all have a slightly different meaning, okay? You bow to show respect. You praise, yeah, and in order to ourselves see Manjushri's good qualities. Manjushri doesn't need the praise, but we note his good qualities because that's important for us, because if we want to become like him, we better know what those qualities are. Yeah. And so that makes us have the attitude aspiring to become a Buddha, which is very different than an attitude propitiating a deity to please that deity. Okay? Human beings have the tendency to like to propitiate external deities and want them to, zoom down and change things in the human world. But the chief way that the Buddha helps us is by teaching us. Yeah. And unfortunately, he cannot go in our mind and change how we think. We're the only ones who can do that. Okay. But by noting the qualities that we like, it shifts our direction so that we will try and develop those qualities. Yeah, it's the same way, when you think some basketball player is just fantastic and you sit around with your friends and talk about, oh, he does this and he does this and he does this, then I want to become like him. Yeah, I want to be able to shoot baskets from the other side of the court. This is so exciting. Yeah. So that's the kind of function that praise has. But we don't want to become a famous basketball player. Okay, we want to become Buddhas. Okay, so homage to my guru. Why are we calling Manjushri my guru? Yeah, I thought guru was the person, my the Dharma teacher or Dharma teachers, possible to have more than one, who really touched my heart. Manjushri I don't know where he is. He's up in space somewhere. Yeah, I can't ask him any questions. So why do I call him my guru? Yeah, my guru I can send 5,000 emails to and make 3,000 phone calls and demand to have at least 1,000 Zoom calls because I have so many questions. They're just like all over the place. And, that's my guru, Manjushri. I don't know how to communicate with him. Yeah, where do I send an email? Well, what's his email address? Yeah, is he on Google? Manjushri at google.com. No, that came back. Although I'm sure somebody probably has it. Okay, here what we're seeing is we're trying to see that our spiritual mentors they're like, when you get to Tantra, you're seeing the mind of your spiritual mentor and the mind of the deity as the same, and their bodies taking different forms in order to communicate with you in different ways. Okay? So it's all, even if you're not seeing Manjushri in that tantric way, Manjushri is my teacher. There's many sutras where Manjushri is one of the bodhisattvas asking the Buddha questions or answering different things. Yeah. So Manjushri can be like a teacher to us. We can also see our teachers as like Manjushri. Okay. Now, I think I mentioned before, Lama Yeshe was he was very funny and very warm and jovial, and everybody loved him. But he had his sword of wisdom. And when you blew it, boing, So, yeah. Okay, then we say protector Manjushri. Okay, protector. But he's not God. How is he going to protect me? Yeah, because we think protector means somebody's going to swoop down and save me. Yeah, somebody, I'm getting attacked in an alley, and I cry out Manjushri, and there he comes. And, there's a battle like, when Batman comes and they're jumping from one roof to the other roof, and Manjushri's victorious and takes me away from the bad guy in the alley. No, it's not like that. Yeah. Manjushri protects us by teaching the Dharma. That's his part. That's his role. But this, in a relationship means things go both directions. Okay? Relationship doesn't mean that we're just the benefactor and sit there and the Buddha does all the work. Okay? It's two ways. So Manjushri teaches us. He inspires us. He guides us. Our role is to put it into practice. Yeah. So the analogy is often happens of the Buddha being like a physician, the Dharma, the medicine, the Sangha, the nurses. Yeah. So you go to the doctor, and the doctor diagnoses what you have. In Manjushri's case, he says, you have a severe case of samsara. Yeah, it's severe. Yeah, it's terminal. And it's worse than terminal because it keeps going after you die. Yeah? And here's the medicine, what you need to take in order to cure your illness. Yeah. And Manjushri writes a prescription, or the Buddha writes the prescription. You have all the sutras, you have the commentaries, and so on. Okay. Now, when you get home from the doctors, do you take the prescription? You put it on the nightstand, or you put it on a bookshelf, and then you go and you touch your head to the bookshelf and say, prescription, please, prescription given to me by Manjushri, please cure my samsara. Okay, you do that, and then you go have some ice cream. Yeah, is that what you do with prescriptions? You put them somewhere and you worship them? Yeah. Or you collect all your prescriptions, so you have a whole library of prescriptions. Yeah. But you've never read any of them or done anything with them. Okay, except collect them. Yeah. Is that going to cure your illness? Okay. The prescriptions are what the doctor gives us, but we have to take the medicine. Yeah. And if we don't take the medicine, it's like, oh, I'm so exhausted tonight. I can't meditate. I need to sleep. I'll practice tomorrow morning. Then tomorrow morning, oh yeah, I said I would practice, but I'm still exhausted. Yeah. And life goes on. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to go do retreat. Oh, but my friend's getting married for the 15th time, and this is my best friend, and I should go to the wedding. Anyway, I just got a new tuxedo or a new dress, and I want a chance to wear it. So a retreat can wait, The wedding is more important. Yeah, so never never wind up going to Dharma class, never wind up doing a daily practice, never wind up going to retreat. But we have so many aspirations to do those things and so many prescriptions to do them, but we never take the medicine. Okay, so then the Sangha's role is to, help us when we're ready to take the medicine. Okay, so because we get confused, there's medicine. Do I take 3 green pills in the morning and 2 blue pills at lunch, or is it 2 blue pills in the morning and 4 green ones at lunch? And when do I take the pink pills? So the Sangha helps us, when we get confused and we don't know how to put things in practice. And, we practice together with the Sangha, and then we're geared in the right direction. Yeah, we're going in the right direction, and we can ask them questions. Okay, so that's how the 3 jewels help us. It's not by, rescuing us by magic. Yeah, we like magic. And Buddhism, there's enough things that sound like magic. I think magic is when we say it's magic when we don't know what the actual causes are. But everything has causes, so, yeah. But some people like Buddhism because there's lots of magic in it. Yeah, magic in the sense that, you hear stories of yogis, who can put their handprint in rocks. And, there's lots of stories like this of magical sounding things. So, again, we like that. And it's like, oh, I can revere somebody like that. I can worship somebody like that. They can do magical things. So they must be special. Yeah. But again, putting your hand on a rock, yeah. Why do yogis do that? Because there must be a special disciple around who will be positively influenced if the yogi does that. Yeah. But otherwise, they're not going to spend their time going like this. Yeah. Yeah. Remember when you're in kindergarten, you put your fingerprint in clay. Yeah. Okay. So the Sangha helps us, continually remember to cultivate a good motivation, remember to remember emptiness, remember to remember emptiness instead of getting lost in our stuff. Okay, so that's how the Buddha Dharma Sangha benefit us. That's how Manjushri protects us. Okay, so then Manjushri, what does he look like? He's holding to his heart a scriptural text, the one of the Prajnaparamita texts. So this is the youthful Manjushri that holds the text to his heart. The Manjushri we usually use is the Arapatanadi, Manjushri Arapatana. Okay, sorry, I was saying the mantra instead of what I was supposed to say. Okay, so why is he holding a text? He's saying, you guys, this is important. And especially the Prajnaparamita text, this is super important. Pay attention to them. Yeah, don't just put them on a shelf and worship them. Okay. So the text symbolizes his seeing all things as they are. What does seeing all things as they are mean? It means he sees all conventional or veiled truths and all ultimate truth simultaneously with one consciousness. And only a Buddha can do that. Okay? Bodhisattvas can go back and forth very quickly, but the high-level bodhisattvas. Okay? So he sees things as they are. In other words, they appear truly existent, but they actually lack true existence. Yeah. So that's kind of our koan, isn't it? What does true existence look like? And how can things actually lack true existence? Especially when true existence is what I see all day long and how I conceive of myself and everything else. Okay. So then you begin to get some idea that being a Buddha involves some very deep level changes in our mind. It's not just, I now have cultivated compassion. So now whenever I get emails wanting charitable donations, I give $5 to each of them. I'm very compassionate. Well, that's good, if they're worthy charities. But that's not bodhicitta. Okay. So Manjushri sees things as they are, and then he also tells us how to see things as they are. Okay. And it's quite radical, yeah. When you begin to get even a teeny sense of what true existence means, yeah. Like when you look at when your mind, it's really good when you have a reaction to something that's very strong, some kind of emotional reaction of like, I've got to have this, I've got to have this. Or some kind of like, you know. Then look, how does the I appear at that time? Yeah. Is the I sleeping? No. No, the I is like right there. And it's powerful. I don't like this. It is powerful. It can control. It has nothing to do with our body and mind. We're going to go out there and, yeah. Yeah. So then, yeah, okay, that's how the I appears. Is that who I am? If it were who I am, then I should be able to identify exactly what the I is. I feel it's there, but we learn that feeling something or intuiting something is not always sufficient. I feel there's a real me who has power, who's going to go and blast that person for what they did. Yeah. Okay, I feel that. Does that mean that exists? Does such an I exist? If it does, where is it? Who is it? Yeah, just somewhere in my body. I make a big cut down here and open it up. And yeah, there's me. Yuck. Sew it up. Sew it up again. Okay. Is it, and then we say, oh, well, it's not my body, but it's my mind. Yeah, then which mind? We have lots of different minds, lots of different mental states. Figure out which one it is, which one you are. Yeah. And all you can come up with is that I is only a thought. Yeah. What's a thought? Yeah. Some kind of conceptual mind and some kind of name and yeah. There's really nothing more than that. Then we freak out. Nothing more than a name. But I am. Okay, so Manjushri can see things as they are, and that ability cuts the attachment, the anger, the jealousy, the pride, and so on. Okay, so he sees things as they are. Wisdom shines forth like the sun. That's another beautiful kind of symbolism, isn't it? Yeah, when you've been in winter for a long time and the days are very overcast for a really long time, then one day when the sun comes out, even there's snow on the ground, you're so happy. Yeah. So it's like that. The wisdom shines forth like the sun, unclouded by the two obscurations. So the two obscurations, they're not this cloud and that cloud, although you can see clouds as the obscurations. The first obscuration is that is to be eliminated are the afflictive obscurations. So they include ignorance, all the different afflictions, yeah, and the seeds of ignorance and the afflictions. Yeah. This second obscuration is cognitive obscuration. And that refers, afflictive obscurations get their name because it's basically the afflictions, yeah? The cognitive obscurations get their name because we're cognizing things in a distorted way, yeah? Or not that we're cognizing, it's how things are appearing to us it is a distorted way. So this is due to the latencies of ignorance and the afflictions. Yeah. So they're not actual mental factors or mental states, but they're really like the clouds that arise from the latencies obscuring us from seeing both truths simultaneously. Okay, so these are Manjushri's qualities. He teaches in 60 ways. Okay, it's said that the Buddha has 60 ways of teaching. When you study the refuge in the Lamrim, yeah, you come across an explanation of the 60 kinds of speech, or the 60 qualities of the Buddha's speech. Yeah. And that is quite amazing. You know, the Buddha has some way when he speaks of everybody understanding it in their own language. And everybody hearing it even without a microphone and a PA system. Don't ask me how he does it, but some way of teaching, and that happens. So he teaches in 60 ways. Yeah. What's his attitude when he teaches? Loving compassion. Okay. And the analogy of the loving compassion is like a parent for their only child. Okay. So why does it say only child? Yeah, some of you are only children. You already think you're special. Why do you need to be more special in this prayer? Okay. Parents, you know, they have loving compassion for all their kids. Yeah. But when they have only one, if something happens to that one, they don't have a replacement. I mean, I was talking in a very crass way, but they don't, you know, it's kind of, yeah, the one kid is gone. And they say that, you know, one of the most difficult things for parents is to lose a child. Losing a spouse, they can handle. Losing a child, very, very difficult for them. Okay, so the way that a parent cares for their child is, you know, it's used as an analogy. Yeah, there's some ways in which parents care for their children that are a good part of the analogy, but this doesn't mean that always that parents care for their children are how Manjushri looks at us, yeah, or are healthy psychologically, okay? So the good part of it is when we're born, yeah, we come in, our parents have it's complete potluck for them, yeah. They don't know what they're getting. They're getting some kid who has a ton of karma, a ton of, you know, their own disposition, their own way of doing things, their own thoughts. And they're moving into a mother, especially a mother. They're moving into your body. They don't say please. They don't say thank you. When they're born, it hurts like hell. And afterwards, what do? You know, you're sleep deprived. They scream in the middle of the night because they're hungry. Yeah. And you're mama and you have to get up and feed them. Yeah, because there's no more baby formula that it ran out in America. Okay, this recently happened. So, you know, does a mother get up in the middle of the night going, oh God, this brat, you know, why can't they scream at a reasonable hour? You know, why can't they just take a bottle? Why can't, you know, and this one screams, and then they set off the other one who screams. And it's like, I want to get to sleep. No, a mother doesn't do that. A mother, like, they love their kid. They get up in the middle of the night and they're sleep deprived for a few years, but they're very happy to feed their child in the middle of the night and then rock the baby to sleep and then get up maybe 2 hours later because the baby's screaming again and wants more food. Yeah. And then what does the baby do? It poops in, in their diaper, and you have to change the diaper. Yeah. I talked to one mother about that, about how she looks at her kids. She said, when you change a diaper, you don't see your baby's poop as dirty. Yeah. There's some special way that a mother looks at her baby where everything is just beautiful. Yeah. So this is what we're saying here is that the love is unconditional. The babies don't say please, they don't say thank you, they don't, clean up their own stuff. They don't pick good times when they're hungry. But the love of the parent is totally unconditional. Yeah, even though it can be very difficult being a parent. Yeah. Now, of course, later when the child is older, then there's the love, I think, isn't quite as unconditional. Yeah, because they have different expectations and different things they want the child to be and not be. But there's still the unconditional love, especially by the mother. And I really see this with the inmates that I correspond with. Yeah. Many of them, their family members don't write, they don't come, nothing. Yeah. Their mother, they're still in touch with their mother. Yeah. No matter what happened when they were growing up that, made them engage in criminal behavior, their mother still sees their child in beauty and loves that kid, even when the kid is in prison for murder. Okay, it's really kind of amazing, and I see this again and again with the people that I write to. Yeah. So this care that a parent has, specifically the mother, but also the father, has for their child, can be very unconditional, and they will give everything for their child. Yeah. So that is showing us Manjushri's compassion for us. It's unconditional. So Manjushri doesn't help us because we praise him, because we give him nectarines, because we build statues and then bow of him and bow down. That's not. It's completely unconditional. And that's the kind of loving compassion we're trying to create towards other living beings. And, the key to the unconditional part is the equanimity. Yeah. So Manjushri doesn't favor one disciple more than another one. Okay. Parents, when their kids get older, might favor one more than the other. Manjushri never does that. Yeah. And they say even a Buddha, if somebody is praising the Buddha on one side and the person standing on the other side is, whipping them or something. For the Buddha, Buddha has equal compassion for both beings. So the point here is that no matter how we act, the Buddha is not abandoning us. Okay, this is something sometimes it's very difficult for us to take in, because of, whatever happened in our childhood, and because of how we were taught to look at things. Yeah, so we are very sensitive to what we consider abandonment. Yeah, and, I don't want to be abandoned. I don't want to be, left out, this kind of thing. And Buddhas never do that. But then you go, well, wait a minute. My guru, Manjushri, but my guru plays favorites. There's certain people that are really close. They're the ones who bring the tea. They're the ones who get to do this and get to do that. And I'm not close. My teacher doesn't look at me. I just, I feel like the abandoned child sitting in the last row, and all these other people are more important. And why don't I get some more attention? Happens. Okay. It isn't, if you have a good teacher, it isn't the teacher playing favorites. Yeah. It's like you look at His Holiness, and when His Holiness walks in the room, everybody, well, all the Westerners are like this, but looking at him. Is he going to look at me? Because if he looks at me, I'm special, and then I'm valuable. But if he passes by and he looks at the other people on my right and left, His Holiness doesn't love me. I'm nothing to him. This is all our own rubbish that we're projecting. His Holiness's heart is infinitely big. There's space for all of us there. Okay. Why do some people have more personal contact with him? Because they're in certain roles where that needs to happen. Okay. That doesn't mean that they favor him. You look at the people working in the private office. Yeah, they have different roles, but not all of them. In fact, I don't think any of them, maybe one, maybe two, can just walk into His Holiness's room and start chatting and expect His Holiness to invite him for lunch. Yeah. If you see His Holiness, it's because you're doing some work and you don't put yourself in there as somebody who's important. Yeah. You know that very well. Yeah. And, he may say thank you, he may not say thank you, but in your mind, you're serving the Dharma, you're serving sentient beings. So the purpose is not to get the teacher to look at you and affirm how you're a good person and pay attention to you. The purpose is, when you have a job like that offers service, then that's what you're doing. You are offering service, and your mind is totally happy to do that. And you're offering service to sentient beings. These obnoxious sentient beings, oh God, I have to offer service to them. They're on the rota and they don't wash the dishes on the rota and I have to do it, Okay, that shows we don't understand much. Maybe we don't understand anything. Yeah, because who does the Buddha care about more than anybody else? Who does Manjushri care about more than anybody else? Sentient beings. Yeah. If we help sentient beings, we are fulfilling Manjushri's purpose. Yeah. If we sit there, pay attention to me, please, I need a pat on the back. I've been emotionally deprived for a long time. That's not how our teacher helps us. Okay. Lama Yeshe once said, okay, because I was one of the ones who didn't get paid much attention to, so I was always jealous because other people got to meditate with Lama Zopa in the morning when he did his practice at 4 o'clock, and I had to lead a meditation course, so I couldn't go and do that. That was my assignment. I had to lead a meditation course, so it was the same time. So I couldn't go in and be one of those special people with Rinpoche at 4 o'clock in the morning, when he's doing prayers and I'm doing them too, and being blessed by his energy. I wasn't one of those people, yeah? And I never wound up bringing him tea either. The cook always brought the tea. I got kicked out. Yeah. So, always this kind of grasping. And then one day, Lama was teaching, and he said something to the effect of, oh, you people think that the people who come and see the teacher and do different things for the teacher, that they're special because they get to go in the room and they get to see the teacher and everything. And Lama, he said, sometimes those people are the worst catastrophes. That's why Lama keeps them close. Yeah, because they need so much help. They're such catastrophes. So I'm like looking, there's Sam, There's the other one who always got so much attention from the lamas, why I didn't. I went, oh, now I understand. Okay, that's why they get so much attention. Okay. So the Buddha actually has equal love and compassion for all of us, whether they pay attention to us as individuals or not. Okay. And if you happen to be the one that does some work for your teacher and, gets these perks, you don't go around bragging about it. Yeah. You find this in Dharma Center so much. It's like, I got to drive Lama. Yeah. And you took out your best car and polished it. I got to drive the Geshe. Yeah. And here's a picture of me and Geshe-la that he signed. Yeah. Do you sign pictures, Geshe-la? No. Oh, they're all going to be so disappointed. Yeah. Maybe we can talk him into it. Yeah. We'll all take individual pictures with him, and then we'll give him a pen and we'll say, you can't leave until you sign all the pictures.
Only on the condition that those pictures will be put up on auction.
That it's put up on what? Auction. Oh, you mean we can't auction it off and raise money for the book? We can do that. Oh, this is our big fundraiser now. Wow. Wow. But, people are going to say, why should I buy a picture of you with Geshe-la that he signed? I want a picture of me with Geshe-la that he signed. So then all the donors are going to come and they're going to line up. Yeah.
First, we have to meet together and reach an agreement of what is going to work. Then, accordingly, I will meet.
You will do it, yeah. Oh, you want a percentage of the donations. Okay.
Anyway, I will already give. I'm assured of my merit, but percentage already.
Yeah. Okay. No, but Dharma Center, it's amazing, you know. Oh, look, here's me and Geshe-la. And did he look, and he wrote, to Thubten Chodron with special love from, you know, Geshe XYZ or Lama XYZ or Rinpoche XYZ. Did you get one of these? And then I got to eat dinner with him after I drove him in my car, and he blessed my family. Here, touch my hand. Okay. Oh. Ugh, I don't know how.
Now everything is taken care of.
No, you need to use the mic, Geshe-la.
And then one begins to feel that now everything is taken care of.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. Everything's
Everything is going to go well.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't, then the question, how in the world did this happen?
Yeah.
Could
Yeah.
I actually met people. One of the stories that I was going to tell yesterday had something to do with that, something around that, but it turned out otherwise. Then they kind of questioned. So it was interesting.
Yeah.
Sometimes these things happen. And I personally remember very clearly when I first joined Monkwood at dialectic school, I would be also looking up to His Holiness, always seeing,
Oh, really?
yeah, does he turn to me?
Tibetans did that too.
Yes. I was very naive then. At this time, thinking just touching and being seen is all that takes care of everything. But that's not.
No. Yeah.
So it's not just the Westerners. Sentient beings do that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really, it sets up quite an unpleasant feeling in a community when people are like that. Yeah. Really quite unpleasant. I could tell you more stories about how this one got more attention than me and that one got more attention than me, and how they were all really awful, dreadful people. Okay, the next phrase. You know, we can do that. Oh, and I'm sorry, I'm remembering things I did and feeling like, oh, how could I do that? You know. Anyway, I hope I'm over all of that now. Okay, so with the loving compassion of a parent for her only child, all wanderers caught in the prison of samsara. So we've talked about that. Caught in the prison, like the bucket. Yeah, going up and down and getting battered. Confused in the darkness of their ignorance. Okay? You're that bucket. You're going up and down, you know, and banging sideways. And it's dark, and you don't have any idea what in the world's going on. Yeah. Why am I here? What's happening? How do I get out? I don't like being banged around in a dark place. How do I get out? And you don't know how to get out. Okay. So confused in the darkness of their ignorance, overwhelmed by suffering. Yeah, so that's us. Yeah. Our problem is we don't realize that we live in the middle of dukkha. Yeah. We don't realize that our mind is confused in the darkness of ignorance. We think we're very intelligent people. Yeah. Look, I have a PhD. I have a this. I have a that. Yeah? That doesn't mean you know anything about the Dharma. Mm-hmm. Okay, so here's Manjushri dealing with a bunch of brats, yeah, who think only about themselves, who are confused in the darkness of their ignorance, overwhelmed by their suffering, stamping their feet, saying, I don't want to be here, please get me out of here, I'll give you a tangerine. And what does Manjushri do? Yeah, you whose dragon thunder-like proclamation of the Dharma rouses us from the stupor of our delusions and frees us from the iron chains of our karma. Okay? Dragon thunder-like proclamation. Yeah. Manjushri isn't just saying, you know, it'd be really good if you listened to teachings. It'd be really good if you tried to be nicer to other people. No. Yeah. Manjushri, he looks peaceful. He's in that peaceful manifestation. But when he teaches, it's like dragon, thunder, you know. Ah, it's there. In the Midwest, they're having these derechos, some kind of weather thing. It's like a kind of similar to a hurricane that they get in the Midwest. And the sky was green before the derecho arrived. And there's winds, some places in the Dakotas and Minnesota getting winds up to 90 miles an hour. Yeah. So when Manjushri speaks, people pay attention. Yeah, it's dragon thunder like. Everybody's afraid of a derecho, but, you know, Manjushri's speech doesn't make us afraid. It rouses us from the stupor of our afflictions. Okay. So how does it rouse, you know, how does Manjushri arouse us from our afflictions? By the way, instead of delusion, I think delusion, affliction, we can put afflictions in there instead of delusions. Okay. So, you know, how does he rouse us? By giving teachings, by saying, here, think about this. Does it make sense to you? Practice this, try this. Does it help you? Yeah. He's not saying you better believe or you know what's going to happen to you. Not saying that. He's saying here is a feast of the Dharma just for you. Eat something. Yeah. Take some teaching and see if it nourishes your heart and fulfills that longing in your heart for some spiritual connection. Okay? So he rouses us from the stupor of our delusion. It's like, oh, you know, I have ignorance, anger, and clinging attachment. Oh, this is a problem. Yeah, not that's just the way I am and everybody has to deal with it. It's this is a problem and this is the cause of my unhappiness and my misery, not other people. Yeah, this is it. And I have to do something about it. Nobody else can do something. I can hire somebody to mow the grass. I can hire somebody to drive the car or clean the house. I cannot hire somebody to practice the Dharma for me. Okay, I have to do it myself, just like we have to sleep. No, but you know, it'd be nice if we could get somebody else to sleep for us, wouldn't it? Please, you know, sleep 10 hours and then I'll be so refreshed. Wow, I wish we could do that. Okay? But no, so we get this Dharma feast that arouses us from the stupor of our delusion And when we put it into practice, when we eat the nourishing food and digest it, yeah, the Dharma frees us from the iron chains of our karma. So the afternoon teachings have been really taught us what the iron chains of our karma means. Yeah, they're not physical chains. They're our mental chains. They're all of our yes, but. They're all of our I aspire to mañana en la mañana, en la mañana, en la mañana, en la mañana, you know. Okay, I'll do it later. Okay, what else does he do? Wields the sword of wisdom, hewing down suffering where its sprouts appear. In other words, he teaches us, okay, encourages us, gives us solutions to our problems. Yeah, and even when we're stuck in our practice, you know, gives us ways to go to solve those problems. Yeah, so in that way, hewing down the suffering that we experience when its sprouts appear. Yeah, so we're just ready to make some stupid decision. You know, we've been going along very well in our Dharma practice, and, you know, it feels good, going well. And then there's this little thing out there that kind of glitters, and I'm really attracted to it, and I have some connection with that, and yeah, maybe I should explore that and just see how it fits in with my practice and my path and everything. And then, you know, there we go and make some stupid decision. Yeah. We are full of stupid decisions. Yeah. If you don't believe it, just look, you know, look at your life, what you've decided to do. You know, and how many times have we almost gotten killed? I mean, on a physical level, not just even talking about creating negative karma that's going to cause a horrible rebirth, but just on a physical level, how often have we done stupid things that almost got ourselves killed? Yeah. And Manjushri, you know, kind of says, hold on, you know. You're about to make a stupid decision. Read this verse. Yeah, yeah. And he pulls out Shantideva. Yeah. And you just open Shantideva's text. It doesn't matter what you read. It's going to solve your problem. Yeah? It's an amazing text, isn't it? I mean, every single verse goes like this, you know. So clearing away the darkness of ignorance. Yeah. Okay, so we'll stop here. We've run out of time. We can continue tomorrow morning, hopefully. But, you know, the explanation took a lot longer than just chanting the prayer. But if you keep some of these things in mind, then when you chant the prayer, you have a much deeper feeling. And it also gives us some more things to actually contemplate in our Lamrim meditation, our analytical meditation. Okay.